Hi, welcome to Tech Beyond Gender podcast. I'm Meena Satishkumar, your host. Today we are joined by Mahimi Fernando, an experienced technology leader whose journey began in Sri Lanka and has taken her through roles as a software engineer, tester, and now an engineering team lead in New Zealand at Xero. With nearly 2 decades of experience in the tech industry, Mahimi brings a wealth of experience, resilience, and insight into what it means to grow, adapt, and lead in an ever evolving field. Join us as we explore her inspiring story of transformation, leadership, and navigating tech across cultures. Thank you, Mahimi, for joining us. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you, Meena, for having me.
Great. So, how about we start from your childhood? What sparked your interest in tech? How it was to grow up in an environment like Sri Lanka? Tell us everything about it.
Well, I believe it's an interesting journey that I had in Sri Lanka. So I'm the in my family where I grew up. I was the youngest in my family and the only girl. I grew up with four older brothers. So I adopted their behaviors quite a lot and I mimicked them quite a lot. And I myself was a little bit of a tomboy when I grew up in Sri Lanka. So I tried to, so what sparked my interest in technology is growing up with boys. They were always exploring things and in outdoors, I had my brothers who were building things. So I eventually got along with them and I tried out everything that most of the time that they did. Right? So, and then after high school education, I started thinking, what's next for me? And the field that I was interested in, that was like I wanted to get into medicine and then something related to psychology, but that was not a feasible avenue for me back in Sri Lanka. So what happened was I had a couple of choices to make. And then one of the choice was either I had to go towards accounting, towards an accounting career or a tech career. So being the only girl in the family, and I had this bit of a adventurous nature in me as well. I wanted to explore new things. It was early 2000s. I could remember I was after the ordinary level exams. There was 6 months or 3 months worth period that we had to stay at home before before the next stage of the school begins. So I went on enroll myself into a computer science or a computer diploma kind of a course. That was the first introduction to this technology world for me. So the moment I enrolled, so the first language that they taught us was Visual Basic and Pascal. So it's just, I absolutely fell in love with it, I would say. The, I loved the pseudocoding. I loved the Visual Basic language, like building something, but not physically, but in a different way. So that's the start of, and then afterwards, my advanced level back in Sri Lanka, as I said, there was two paths for me, either accounting or technology. Then I had that 3 months worth of exposure into technology, and then I chose technology.
Wow, nice. Was there a teacher or a mentor or a family member who sort of played a key role in shaping your career in tech?
I would say many people, but I would like to mention couple of roles. I would say the first person is my mother. From a very higher level, like she didn't push me towards a tech career or anything, but when growing up, she always said to me that I need to be independent, and I had um, this passion to explore always. And then I had this adventurous nature. I want to try something new. And then she was like, follow your passion. You've got lots of things to give to this world. So follow your passion. Try to do something with the gift that you have. So she was always encouraging me. And then in tech, I'm very, very lucky to find like or to have good leaders. Every role that I was part of, I had very good leaders. So the very first job that I engaged in, or the role that I took in tech back in Sri Lanka. So I had a bit of a, the people used to call that person as a strict mentor, but I absolutely valued that person's opinion because he was very methodical and was very passionate about the software that we built. And he gave all that he got to his trainees or to the junior software engineers. So it was hard, it was tough, but I felt like, okay, so this person is very passionate, and the way that person taught was really good. And it built me a very good foundation. And also the other leaders whom I had report to or who helped me to grow, they always gave me advice about follow your passion, follow your heart. What do you think about it? They always opened up new avenues to me. So they never tried to keep me in a frame. They wanted to hear my opinion, my thoughts. So I would say all the leaders, like kudos to all the leaders that, who gave me opportunities in this tech industry, and they have done a massive, massive workload to support me and to where I am today.
Wow, very nice. So you started off as a software engineer, did you?
So it's an interesting story, Meena. So while I was doing my technology degree, I was working as well. So I started working and I started studying at the same time. So that's why I'm really good at time management because it was a full-on course as well as it's full-time work. And then after I sat for my final exams, what happened was I got this opportunity via a friend. He told me that, okay, there's this particular company who's looking for trainees. Would you like to, give me your CV? So I just gave CV. And then they were like, I had a couple of interviews. Then they were like, okay, um, we would like to hire you. So the first opportunity they gave me is to join as a junior tester, right? So they told me, yes, you're passionate about software engineering, but we've got an opportunity for junior tester. Would you like to try? And then I thought about it, and this is just an opening for me. And then also, the person who interviewed me said that if you take this particular role, opportunities are endless. It is up to you to shape this particular role as well. So I took that chance. I joined as a junior tester. And and then if I continue, so that is I would say it is one of the proudest roles that I have done ever. So that is, I joined as a junior tester fresh out of completing the degree. I didn't know anything about, I've not had an internship or anything. So the very first job that they gave me was, okay, here is HPQTP, right? It's an automation framework. They said, here's the software that we are building. Here's the QTP framework, build as an automation framework. And then, of course, I had another engineer who supported me and gave me the basics of that particular framework. So the first thought which came into my mind is, I don't know anything about this. How am I going to do this? So I took that leap of faith and I did it. But can you imagine what happened like the first automation suite that I built? Do you think it's a success or a failure?
Of
What do you
course, it
think?
will be a success.
No, it is a failure,
Oh,
right? So I got the job done. So they gave me a time frame. They gave me 3 weeks. I
Mm.
got it done. But when I opened up so when they wanted me to run it with a different, I couldn't run it because I'm hard coded. The data, it's not reusable.
Oh.
Right. So I was in tears and I was like, okay, my career is over and I gave up a stable job to come into this job. What's going to happen? And then the mentor I spoke to you about, um, he was my first boss, and he was very kind, and he's like, it's okay. He was calm. He was like, what did you learn from this? And he asked me that question, and I said, this is what I learned. And then he said, now what do you think you should be doing? And then I said, okay, these are the problems that I've identified, and this is how I'm going to fix it. And then he's like, okay, how much time do you want? What's your plan? And then I gave a plan. This is my plan. This is how we're going to fix it. So so that's the freedom that I got to explore things. And then the second time I got it done and I did a training. I had a very successful um, career in that particular company because people knew that I had the resilience. I'm a person who would learn from my failures, right? And I have the resilience to go on with it. The second time I got it done, and then when I ended my job in that particular company, I have explored more roles. I would say I was the automation test lead, and then I have trained all the manual testers to be automation testers. Then they gave me the opportunity to become a software developer in the same company. So I was like immensely proud of all of the decisions that I took during that tenure.
So that's a fascinating story, Mahimi. Your journey from being a junior tester to an engineer and now in leadership roles. What is your most favorite role of all?
Um, I would say okay. So I would say I don't have any regrets about any of the roles that I've taken in my career. But one of the favorites, I would say the leadership roles that I've played. I've been an engineering lead before, and I've been head of QA or test manager back in Sri Lanka, and now I'm an engineering team lead. So those leadership roles actually gives me immense fulfillment, right? And when I think about why, especially being a test manager back in Sri Lanka, I built a whole QA team there. And then I took a couple of, I would say, risks as well, where due to the nature that I had to, due to the circumstances that we had a couple of high priority deliveries, so I had to get people pretty quickly. So I had to get quite a lot of junior team members who can, join me pretty quickly, and then I had to come up with a plan to build them. I really liked that particular role because it gave me an immense challenge in different ends. And also I like the fact that I got the opportunity to shape many people's tech careers, right? And now looking back now, to see that those people are in positions back like in Sri Lanka, some of them are QA leads, some of them are, automation architects, and it gives me immense pleasure. Even now, they're saying, Mahimi, you had faith on me, you gave me an opportunity, and it fulfills me quite a lot. Yeah.
Wow, that is so nice to know. So, of all the roles, obviously, you would have learned something, and then there would have been challenges as well. So, what were the challenges that you faced earlier on in the career? Any key ones that you would like to mention, and how did you overcome the challenges?
Um, I would say one of the challenges I've already described in my first role, and there were like okay, so there was two types of challenges. So the first challenge was like I would say technological challenges. I wouldn't consider them as hard challenges because I during my career I explored many roles. So all of the companies, like I used to work for companies who are mainly Java oriented, and there were a couple of companies who were .NET oriented. So it was matter of me spending some time and trying to upskill myself on the technology. Okay, and then of course the other thing is when I got a bit matured and when I got a bit experience, I realized I don't have to know everything. Okay. So that was a key, like that was an aha moment in my career. So I needed to know, I just need to know whom to speak to, who are the right people with the knowledge, and I just need to get them together and solve the problem. Right. So I would say that's my motto these days, right? That's the principle. That's one of the principles that I follow. So any challenge, I believe, um, I could, get through if I have a very good team with specialists.
So now, having transitioned from an individual contributor role to a leadership role is a significant change, right? Um, like, what inspired you to make that move?
That's a great question. I would say, I'm a value-driven leader. I myself see as a value-driven leader. I operate on a strong suit of values, so and principles. So I know what is the purpose of my life, and the key purpose, as I see, is to support people and to help people. And the other thing is it gives me immense fulfillment to see things happen or to get a key outcome or a result done. Okay, so we as individuals, like one third of our lives, okay, one third of our days is spent at work, right? And we interact with people, and that's a bigger part of our lives. So I wanted to do something which brings me fulfillment, something which brings me joy. And then this leadership role, every leadership role that I've dived into has given me that fulfillment, and it's aligned with my values.
So you have moved from Sri Lanka to New Zealand, and how long ago was this?
This was 8 years back. Yeah.
Awesome. So, what were the challenges that you've experienced moving from Sri Lanka to New Zealand? I'm sure it's a big shift.
It is a big shift. So there are a couple of reasons why we did that move. It's mainly due to, I'm a proud mother of two boys. So it's mainly due to my family because in Sri Lanka we wanted to give, like as a working mother, I didn't have much time to spend with my children because I was in a leadership position at that time as well. And I wanted to spend more and more time with my kids. So that's why, and also we wanted to provide them with education. So that's why we wanted to move to New Zealand. So when we thought about this particular move, we actually planned and we researched quite a lot, and we thought about what are all the challenges that we would face. So one of the things that came to our mind is, will we be able to find a job, in New Zealand? So, and we prepared for it quite a lot. So I migrated first before my husband and I came to New Zealand. And so as I said, like I have thought about it ahead a little bit of time because I was head of QA back there, and I knew coming into a new country, it's a new culture. I have to get used to a lot of things. I deliberately thought of stepping down. So I wanted to go and become a hands-on technical person. So that was one of the challenges that I faced, and it was a conscious decision from me. So I prepared myself for that challenge. So how I prepared was I knew because being in that leadership role, I was less hands-on. And if I'm going to be a hands-on technical specialist, I need to be familiarized with the tools. So how I overcame that challenge is like I spent time, I've allocated time during my day, to upskill myself. And also I did a lot of research, what sort of technologies are there in New Zealand, what sort of a tech culture is there in New Zealand. So all those things I did quite a lot of pre-planning or preparation before the move. Yeah. And
Wow. This is despite having a full-time job, managing a family, you dedicated time for upskilling yourself before moving back to New Zealand.
yes, I did. Yeah. And then I would say it was very successful because within 3 weeks after coming to New Zealand, I was able to land my first job because all that hard work and preparation that I did, the reflections that I did just paid off. And then I was able to get my family within a short time period as well.
Wow, that's very impressive. So, like, how was it like moving to a leadership role and then stepping back into a technical role? How was the transition for you?
Um, I would say transition was first, it was a bit of a shock um, because I felt um, so I enjoyed the opportunities that I got here, and also I was doing the technical roles, but then in my mind I was going, but I was thinking I could do so much more, because the mindset that I had for continuous improvement and that strategic thinking, it always kept on, saying, okay, find opportunities, find problems to resolve, find solutions for those problems, support others. So even though I was in technical roles initially in New Zealand, I actually went beyond my immediate role. And then I ventured into being a Scrum Master and an Agile coach to other squads, or a couple of squads, and that gave me an opportunity to wear a different hat as a Scrum Master, and then it actually helped me to fulfill my passion of supporting others and growing others as well. So I was really fortunate enough for in every employer who employed me, they gave me immense opportunities. They're always like, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to explore this? Go ahead and explore. If you have the capacity and bandwidth to learn something new and teach others, go ahead and do it. Yeah. So even in New Zealand, I got the same opportunities.
Wow. So, the cultural or workplace differences didn't really matter to you at all.
No, it did not, because even back in Sri Lanka, I used to work in companies where we collaborated with other countries. So I used to, I used to collaborate with teams in North America, in Norway. So I was so used to a multicultural environment and different ways of working. So it wasn't a barrier at all. Um, yeah.
So, how do you stay connected to your roots while building a life and career in New Zealand?
That's a great question, Meena. Um, I would say from Sri Lanka, I've got my values, and from my religion also, I've got my principles that I follow. So those are the boundaries that I never cross. And even in New Zealand, I've realized it's a matter of being authentic, who you are, and presenting yourself as who you are to others. And there's no problem of, being yourself regardless. Even though you're away from your motherland, if you are true to yourself and if you are your authentic self, other people really understands and feels it. And there's no problem of being yourself in any other country. Yeah.
Wow. So now looking back in hindsight, what are some of the most defining moments in your career so far?
That's a great question, Meena. I have multiple moments, but I'll pick a couple and I'll share with you all. One of the defining moments is in Sri Lanka. When I was doubting myself a little bit, I got this opportunity to become head of QA in one of the companies, and I was in little bit of a doubt whether I should take that opportunity or not. And then one of my managers or the head of QA in that current company, in the current company that I was employed in, I went to him and I said, I have this particular opportunity, and I'm thinking I'm happy. I'm doing okay in the current position that I am, but I've got this particular opportunity through one of my friends. What should I do? And then he was the head of QA in this current company, and he said, Mahimi, why are you doubting yourself? What's bugging you? And he really helped me out to, understand my feelings and understand why am I reluctant, right? And then he said, and he was listening to me, and then he said, "Are you a tree?" And then I was a little bit puzzled from that. And I asked, why are you asking that? And then he said, Mahimi, only trees grows in one place. So you need to decide whether you're a tree or whether you're a human. So that was a that was one of the moments where I went, oh, I, and and then another leader of mine was um, inspired me to think about um, yeah so inspired me to, so there was another opportunity where I was thinking, am I doing the right thing or am I not, am I taking the right decision on taking this particular opportunity, being an engineering lead to an engineering team lead. So there I had, because having a psychology background now, after studying in New Zealand, I had the tools and techniques to really reflect and see, what I want to do in my life. So I've realized if I'm in my comfort zone, there won't be growth. So I need to go into my courage zone so that I would be, um, exploring other opportunities or other environments which would really, really help me to grow. So those are a couple of defining moments, I would say, in my career.
So did you say you're doing psychology as well at the moment?
So I just completed a graduate diploma in psychology. That was one of my dreams, which came true after, I would say, 18 years, and I completed it in last year, 2024. Yeah.
Okay, wow. So why psychology? And do you think the learnings from psychology somehow relate to tech?
That's a great question. So I'll answer first question, why psychology? That's because, that is one of my passions. I like to interact with people, and I believe myself, I think I'm a people person. So I would love to understand the people around me, because one of the purpose of my life is I want to support people, help grow people. So by understanding others and others' motivations, I would be able to, um, support them more. So that's why I thought of, studying psychology. And does psychology and technology goes well hand in hand together? I would say very much. That's because when I was an individual contributor or a technical expert, I realized it's more about my knowledge in a tool or a language. So when I became a team leader or a leader in technology, what happened was I was not doing the work by myself, but I was motivating others. I was supporting other people mostly. So it was important for me to understand, you know, what are the thoughts and the feelings, how other people think, what are the thoughts and the feelings are going in their mind. Because as humans, we are unique creatures. We all have our different experiences. So our judgments actually are based on our different experiences. So I would say most of the time there was a there was a big shift in the way that I'm leading after I studied psychology. Earlier I used to speak quite a lot with my team, and now I mostly what I do is I observe. So when I observe their facial expressions and how people, their voice, and also not only verbal cues but also non-verbal cues. So that has helped me to have, I would say, fruitful conversations with them. Get into the why behind certain statements or certain ways of working, and get a better in technology.
Wow. So, having got the psychology background, right? Like, because this is a topic that's more widely spoken in organizations now about neurodiversity. And what are your thoughts on that? And how do you think organizations can create a very inclusive environment for everyone?
Thank you so much for asking that question, Meena. So, as I said, everybody is wired differently. Okay, in one of like the brain has a brain is an organ which changes every time that we have a different experience. So that's called neuroplasticity, right? So even if we say that there are diverse individuals, we need to shape up the environment in such a way that we support neurodiverse individuals. So it's about having a conversation with them. So these are some of the strategies that I follow. Having a conversation with them, and also understanding what is that specific neurodiverse person's need, right? So, because neurodiversity is a broad spectrum. So, and then, according to that need, we can see there could be multiple solutions to satisfy that need, multiple ways to satisfy that. Okay. So let's say one person's need, one neurodiverse person's need will not be same as another person's. So if we understand their needs specifically, and then understand what is the solution which would work for a specific person and provide that particular environment, they thrive in the right environment. So that is something that I wholeheartedly believe, and I have seen throughout my career uh, with the people that I've supported.
Wow. Yeah, this really emphasizes the need for all of us, like leaders especially, to know this, right? To learn and have a background on psychology. It feels that it's so relevant and important. So, what is a lesson or a piece of advice you often share to younger professionals, or especially women migrants who are entering into tech space?
I would say for the younger professionals who are entering into tech space, the very first thing is, I would say, be bold. Okay, don't doubt yourself. Okay, if somebody is giving you an um, opportunity to start somewhere, start, right? Even if it is not the place that you want to be in, just grab that opportunity, and show your true passion. What are you passionate about? And show your true strengths. And then, of course, people will. try to understand, people will understand your skills and your strengths and also help you out with weaknesses. Okay? And the other thing I would say, especially for women, I know that um, lots of young females have spoken to me about having imposter syndrome, okay, doubting themselves, saying that, am I good enough? Can I do this? As a person who has gone through that particular stage, I would say that the time that you spend doubting yourself is is not worth it, right? So my advice to you is try to be self-aware, understand yourself first. Okay, so try journaling, then reflections, try structured reflection techniques, and then try to understand why you are having these particular thoughts. And then, of course, have an action plan. Once you understand the why behind your having these thoughts, you will be amazed. You'll be amazed to see some of them are not even realistic thoughts, right? And why would you stop yourself like exploring horizons, new horizons, if like just because you're bound to these thoughts which are limiting you, right? So I would say trust yourself, right? Just have faith in yourself and um take that jump, take that leap. You don't have to do you don't have to know everything. Okay. So what you know is enough, right? And also, I would say, especially to women, we are managing so many things. We are managing careers, we are managing our families, and some of the women are learning. And then coming into a new country is being a migrant is another challenge altogether. So if you can go through so many challenges, right? Why are you doubting yourself? Why aren't you be kind to yourself and take this other opportunity or the new job role or the new project? Right? So I would say again, to wrap it up, I would say don't doubt yourself. Even if you take that particular role, let's say if you fail, you'll learn that, okay, I didn't know about it, but now I know that I didn't know about it. I learned something new. So either way, you're learning, you're growing, even if you fail.
Nice. So, what do you normally do when you have these doubts or imposter syndrome stopping you from doing something you want to do?
So um, earlier, like I used to limit myself, and now what I do is I have a journal that I write every day. So what I do is I reflect. So I use structured reflection methodologies like Gibson reflection cycle or the simple reflection methodologies like what happened. Okay, so what was the implication of that situation? And so that is about what, so what, and what's next. Those are three simple steps that I follow to do a reflection. So, and then when I reflect, so that's a way of easing my mind as well. And then I feel very clear and I feel lighthearted because I've offloaded all the thoughts which are going in my mind. And then after I go through that particular structured reflection mechanism, I know, okay, what I need to do. So it brings me clarity, right? And then with that clarity that I have, then I think about, okay, so the steps, what are the next steps that I can take with the given situation? Are these steps feasible? Can I actually do this? Okay. And then if I say, okay, I cannot do it now, when can I do it? Or who can help me out with it? Right. And then the last, okay, so if I'm in very much in a doubt, what I think is, um, will I regret? So we are humans. We all have a limited time period in this earth, right? So when I'm closing my eyes, will I regret if I don't do this? So that was one of the key questions that I ask when I'm in doubt.
So you mentioned something about what the three things that you do with journaling, right? What first one is what happened, so what, and what's next. Can
Yes.
you explain that a bit more?
Yeah. So let's say that I'm having a situation at work, let's say at a meeting, like, okay, so I was in a meeting and then that particular meeting outcome, I didn't get the outcome that I was expecting from that meeting. So that's the situation, right? So when I journal, I try to be very descriptive about the situation, right? So I talk about, okay, this is the meeting and these were the people who attended and this is what happened. In every situation, when we form a perception, right, about a situation. And then when we write descriptively about it, right, from a third person's view, like you're an observer, okay, it gives a different perspective altogether. I'm just, describing this is what happened in this particular meeting, right? And then that's about what, right? And so what is about, okay, so couple of events took place in the meeting. And so what means what happened to me? What happened? Okay, did I feel sad about it, or was I emotional about it, or what happened because I couldn't so we couldn't achieve the outcome that we wanted to achieve. So what happened, or so what? Okay, what is the implication of it, right? So I write it down, right? And then it's about um, what's next. Let's say the outcome that I expected is from party A to have an agreement with party B to contribute uh, to a particular work, right? But that outcome I could not achieve. So I said, so what? I could not achieve this outcome from the meeting. I could not get an agreement. So what means, okay, so then there'll be a delivery delay, or there'll be an escalation which should happen, or what is the implication. So that is so what. And then what's next? When we write what's next, then I really need to detach. So I detach myself from all the emotions that I have. Okay, obviously I'm sad because I couldn't get what I wanted, the outcome what I wanted. I detach from that and I say, okay, now if I what how can I correct this? What are the next steps that I can do? Right? So normally I don't, it depends. In my case, after I do so what, I normally take a little bit of a breathe, right? 2 to 5 minutes just to detach myself from all those feelings. And I reread those steps. And then I really try to put somebody else's hat on my head and think, okay, if I'm this person, how would I solve this? Or I'm a participant from team A, what would I how would I resolve this? If I'm a participant from team B, how would I resolve it? Right? So really going out of the box thinking. So I realized rather than thinking in my head, this particular technique helps me in situations to say that some situations are not really bad as I think, you know, and then of course gives me, next steps and a plan to go next day and, connect with people and find a solution.
So, if you could speak to your younger self, just starting out in tech, what would you say to her?
I would say to my younger self, um, do not doubt yourself. Please don't hesitate. And first of all, I would be very grateful for my younger self for having this resilience. Like I've gone through many challenges, many roles. So I was like, there were instances where there were situations where I felt like, oh, why am I doing this? Is it worth it? So I would say to my younger self, I'm eternally grateful for the resilience that you had, never to give up, right? Even having situations where I felt like I should quit right now, but having techniques and tools to understand my thoughts and emotions in myself, and then having that resilience to go on to the next day and go on with the next set of tasks. Um, I'm immensely proud, right? So that is one of the key messages I would give. And the other message is um, challenges are an opportunity to learn, right? And always trust your gut, trust your intuition, right? And you're the only person who knows what are your strengths and what sort of capacity that you have, right? And what is your passion? Follow your passion, follow your inner feelings, and have a purpose in life. And you have that courage to fulfill the purpose in life. That's what I would say to my younger self.
Great. Thank you. Thanks so much for your time, Mahimi. It was such a pleasure to have this conversation with you. Any closing thoughts to our listeners?
Thank you so much for having me, Meena. I really enjoyed having this particular chat with you. And to all the listeners, I would say, again, my closing message would say, trust yourself, right? And always learn, it's okay to make mistakes. From mistakes, you will learn, you will grow, right? But please do not hold yourself back. That will stop your learning, and that will stop your growth, right? Nobody is perfect. No perfect human being is here. So people understand even if you make a mistake, as long as you're willing to correct it and learn from it, people will provide you opportunities. So try to live your best life according to your purpose.
That's a beautiful message. Thank you, Mahimi. Thanks for your time.